Alright, so yesterday I showed you the projects I'm working on, Challenger, Subaru, the gas tank for the Challenger, and today we're going to be working on the tank again and changing oil in the Challenger. So the tank is all dry now. First coat went on pretty good. This is the bottom side. Still a little tacky here and there, not quite 100% dry. I can still feel tackiness in it. It's probably not setting up just because it's cold out here in the shop at night. I don't keep the heater on. Say propane. I only have it running when I'm out here. But anyway, we're gonna flip this over, put our second coat on the top side, and then the other part of the video here, we're gonna change the oil on the Challenger. So we're gonna throw in some of this 20W50 race oil. So right now I've got full synthetic in there, and I've recently learned you don't want to be running kind of the newer oils with old or flat tappet lifters and cams. So we're going to get that changed out. And so now we're going to cut to me doing a time lapse and painting the gas tank. All right, so here's the end result. That was about 40 seconds time lapse. I mean, this took me probably 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes to do. This is probably the best coat that I've put on this tank. And what I mean by that is, I think before I was being a little too conservative with the paint. Not using enough. Brush wasn't fully loaded, and it was really hard to paint. This time I decided to go a little more liberal with it and had the brush more loaded, and it painted a lot better, and actually it looks a lot more smooth. I mean, obviously there are little dimples here and there. I don't know if, yeah, you can kind of see those. Kind of look like a star pattern, starry night or whatever. That's just stuff that was on the metal when I primed it. But before I started, I took my little pick and I had a couple of yeah, you can see that line right there. I'm gonna need to come up and touch that up later, but that was a bristle from the brush that came off. Yeah, overall this looks good. And you know what? It doesn't have to be perfect. It's gonna be under the car, so who cares? I mean, I care. That's why I'm doing this. If I didn't care, I would have bought a new tank and just said the hell with it. But yeah, after I finished all the big painting, I came in with a little nice paintbrush and did kind of the fine trim work there, and I got behind the gasket here, and then kind of down in there in those little nooks and crevices. Okay, so there's the tank. Second coat is done on this side, one more coat on the bottom side, and this thing is done. Done. All right, so now we're going to move over to the car and get this oil changed. Okay, so now we're over at the engine. A little bit of background on, well, this engine in particular and flat tappet engines. So this is a 1970 440 big block. It was rebuilt back in the mid to late 90s. I have old paperwork showing when this engine was rebuilt. It was bored 30 over at the time. The owner at the time put a mild cam in it. I don't know what the lifters are. I don't know what any of the lift duration, any of those numbers. I don't even know what those mean yet. But I have no data on that part of the engine. So one thing that I learned recently, both on YouTube and just reading on the internet, is flat tappet lifter cam setups need zinc slash phosphorus oil. And so what I learned about that is the zinc and I believe the phosphorus chemically react with the cam lobes and the lifter flat surface to create a sacrificial barrier. And that's created at the time of break-in of a new cam and lifters. And so that break-in period, from what I understand, creates a sacrificial barrier that then sets the life of, well, maybe not sets the life, but it breaks in the cam. And so I've read that industry and the car industry and everything has gone away from using zinc oils due to roller cams, roller lifters, all that fun stuff. And just the chemistry of oil has gotten better over the years. So there hasn't the demand for high zinc oil has gone down and actually doesn't really exist anymore aside from racing application or old classic cars. So I didn't understand that when I got this engine, or sorry, when I got this car. And so when I I got everything back together to get it running, I threw full synthetic 5W30 in it. Now, when I first found out about the flat tippet cams and the high zinc oil, and you need all that for tippet lifters, I thought that I had destroyed my cam. But then I thought, wait a minute, it's already broke in. Yeah, this engine had been running back in the 90s, and this car was driving in Vegas. So I knew, at least from a break-in standpoint, the engine's fine. Cam's fine, lifter's fine. I had the valley pan off at one point, and I was able to look at the cam, but again, at the time that I did that, I didn't know what to look for. I wasn't sure what I was looking at. So with all that in mind, I'm confident that my lifters and the cam are fine. I haven't driven this car yet. I've had it a year, haven't driven it. I've ran the engine half a dozen times. The longest I've done it was probably a half an hour. Never brought it up to RPM. I'd give it a little whoa, whoa rev here and there, but never got it up to high RPM. So anyway, we're gonna drain this bad boy and throw some of this racing oil in there. So let's go down below. Okay, so a couple things took place as I was getting under here. First, I started to put this underneath and it was catching on the oil pan. For the first time in 19 years, this car was off of its blocks and I never realized it sat so low. Okay, so I put it back on blocks. I've got the valve cover caps off up on top. So now, if I remember right, this bolt is a 3/4 inch. Nope. Okay, if I remember right, this bolt is a 3/8 inch. Not 3/8, sorry, geez, 7/8. Well, that fits, but way too much play. Okay, if I remember right, this bolt is a 21 millimeter. That's pretty close. I mean, we're just gonna send it. Oh yeah, that's good. Now, the last time I tightened this down, I feel I may have started to strip it, but we're gonna take it off anyway. Find out. Oh, so another thing on the cam, one indicator of cam and lobe wear is going to be metal in the oil, small metal shavings. So when we get this oil drained, we're going to take a magnet to it and see if there's any metal in there. I hope there's not. I swear to God, if there is, I'm probably just going to sell this car. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. All right, we'll let that drain. We'll come back in a second. Okay, so we got the oil out. It's pretty dark for not being really driven or engine running for very long. But anyway, well, a lot of the sludge is probably just from the motor sitting for so long, and a lot of this is just getting broken up and finally getting out of there. So, got my magnet. Let's see what we find. Hopefully, nothing. I swear, it better be nothing. All right, moment of truce, baby. Let's see what we got. Beautiful. That looks like only one little speck of metal. And honestly, I think that was already in this in this bucket here. I don't believe that's from the engine. That's great. All right. Cool. Well, we'll clean this off and get the new oil in, and I think we'll call her a day. Okay, so now we've got the oil drained. I've got the oil plugged back in on the bottom. I've got my caps off here. I got my funnel cleaned. Let's put this oil in. Okay, we're gonna go with about that much on this side. So right now I'm only putting one 5-quart jug in, and then we're gonna check the level, see where we get. If it's too little, then we'll just keep topping her off until we get the right amount. Oh yeah, these fenders are not bolted on all the way. I'm missing about one or two from each one, and they're not all the way down, so they're a little loose. Anyway, we'll speed this up from here, get this tidied up. All right, so this is just a quick kind of post edit. I'm gonna throw this in the middle of a lot of the video here. I apologize for the audio on these. Filming from my phone, and it picks up sound for some reason on this side or maybe this side. I don't know which way I'm oriented here, but I can't really hold it. I'm holding it with the back of my hand right now, and it is not working very well. So again, I apologize if the audio is really bad. I don't know, maybe I'll go pick up like a lapel mic or something so I get better sound. But anyway, back to video. All right, so wrapping it up for tonight. Check the oil level, and it was good. 5 quarts, and it was just right above the full mark. So I've got the caps back on, and oil's changed. I didn't care to change the filter. I mean, again, it only has ran for maybe an hour total. So I don't think I need to change the filter. And even if there's some old synthetic oil in there, I mean, whatever. So that's that. I think from here, I'll have the tank. So let's go look at the tank real quick here. So it's already kind of starting to dry up, but we're going to let it sit overnight. It's actually really warm in here right now, and I think that's why it's setting up quick. So tomorrow, flip it over, put our last coat on. I think that's about it for tomorrow. Well, I guess that's it for today. We're going to tidy some stuff up, call her a night. The only thing I have for tomorrow is going to be that. I don't. I need to get going on the fuel lines for this, but I don't really want to do that on a school night, work night. So yeah, Subaru supposed to be getting the CV axles. It says they ship today. Maybe I'll get them tomorrow. Thinking to be getting them on Wednesday. But yeah, when we get those in, we'll tear that bad boy apart. Get the CV axles replaced, and then maybe come up this weekend. We're gonna do the fuel lines. Tank will be done, like I've said 1,000 times. I'm kind of proud of that. I don't know. I think it looks pretty good. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for tuning in, and take it easy.